Hello, Ectosage here on the Sage channel, and today we'll be looking at this random landing craft I've thrown together. It has these lovely little thrusters which are all set to rotate when the whole thing rotates. In fact, I can teleport myself in here and actually hop in a control seat and use this one. And I should say it also has that wonderful little script where you put reference in the cockpit name, and this script will actually go ahead and, what's it called, make the rotor, or make the thrusters work as if they're actually attached to the main grid. Alright, so if we hop in this, we can go ahead and press our rotate buttons, and ta-da, you can see everything rotates nice and lovely like, and if I hold spacebar, they actually fire, and actually push themselves upwards a little bit. These guys have a habit of actually rotating a little bit weirdly, but they're supposed to be pointing straight down right now, and once they're there, I can actually lock them in place as well. They're just freaking out a tiny bit, but they're not too bad. And then, of course, I can press the 1 key again to rotate them once more. Now, the whole idea of this ship is that it's a lifting body for cargo. So it would go ahead and grab something from orbit, take it down to the surface, drop it off, and come back up. As such, it's got this whole like locking mechanism down here where it can extend the green one and lock in there, red one and lock in there. You don't have to use both, and it even has a conveyor system so you could transfer power. Then once it's up here in orbit, it would grab more and also recharge because the whole thing is battery powered. So if we look inside here, you can see a bunch of gyroscopes, but also a bunch of cargo for more ice and whatnot, so power the thrusters, but then a bunch of power. And then beneath that, a bunch of these fun guys, the HQO O2 manufacturing machines, the hydrolysis machines. But yeah, this was my first take at it, and while it did function pretty well in space, and actually down on the planet as well, I found that if we were to add much more weight, we'd have issues. So I went ahead and made a version 2, which is the same damn thing, except for instead of having a little dinky thruster on each side, it's got these reaching down to actually have, well, a fair bit more thrust. And it also helps with its actual maneuverability, so these aren't the only things allowing it to maneuver anymore. It's got all sorts of thrusters every which way, and a bunch more of these. Now, I don't know how power will hold up. When I get a final version, we might have to go ahead and actually add a reactor somewhere in this damn thing, but for the time being, it should hold, well enough. So let's go ahead and hop into this one, and this one, as it's closer to a final... Wait a minute. Did I just discover... So that deserves a video on its own at some point, that you can actually, when you're in a cockpit, teleport the whole structure you are inside with control spacebar. That's something. But that's not the purpose of today's video, so I've gone ahead and reloaded everything, and ta-da, we're back into, well, a non-destroyed world. And you can see in here, we have the same control panel with the same sort of controls. In fact, I've even got stuff down here so we can control all the connectors and stuff at the bottom. But I also have a secondary control panel here, so it can actually fly it like this, as if it's just a directional ship. So to do that, first off, I'm going to go ahead and convert this to a ship. And we can actually go ahead and just hold W now, and away we will go. And of course, they're a little bit weird. They maybe burn ourselves a little bit. The smart thing would have been to go ahead and press a number 2 and lock them in place, which I've just done. And ta-da, now we have, well, fairly decent control. And of course we can turn the ship ever so slowly and go exploring around. Now, of course, if we were actually taking cargo down to the planet, we'd basically be using it as, well, what it is, a giant lifter instead of the flying prawn that it now looks like. P-R-A-W-N, prawn. Because look at it, it's like got little whiskers at the front and it's weird crawdad arms sticking out the sides. Anyhow, let's go ahead and actually teleport it down so we can see it in orbit, and then we get to have, I say in orbit, in atmosphere, and then we get to have a little bit of fun with it as well by actually going ahead and trying to not hit mountains. And then if we hit mountains, we hit them, whatever. There will be another version of this in the future when I've gone ahead and actually made a proper cargo thing for it, but at the current time, I don't have anything for that. So, yeah, the crawdad with bells for arms will just have to stay, well, on YouTube. Alright, I'm going to copy-paste it and take it down there. Actually, using what we just learned, I can just hop in a cockpit, fly down to a planet, and do control spacebar, and I now know that teleports me and the whole vehicle I'm in. So cool, we're down on the planet now. And of course we can go ahead and use this thing and have some fly fun times with it without too much trouble, I don't think. The gyroscopes could use a little bit of a boosting, but the whole thing actually overall works, well, fairly well. Let's do one quick thing though. I'm just going to do a Control C on it, just in case I do crash it in 12 seconds. we can go ahead and copy another one in. And I say we try to go through that little gap straight ahead. Unfortunately, Space Engineers worlds are ridiculous proportions, so it's really nigh impossible to tell the shapes of, well, anything. But I do believe when the whole game releases, they might be updating those textures a little bit, so we might see some improvement on that at least, so the textures will make it a little bit easier to tell the size of everything. Or maybe not, we'll find out. So let's see, let's expand these out. Oh, no, I locked them. Let's expand them out. And just for the hell of it, let's also go ahead and expand out these things at the back of the ship. The lovely little pistons are now shooting out the back for no good reason whatsoever. And let's see just how close we can pull to getting near the ground. Can we like knock off one thruster and only one thruster? Or can we hit it so it's like just skimming it? Oh, ooh. That was pretty close, yeah. And so now we have our own, almost looks like a solar sail, doesn't it? The flying crawdad, or almost another sort of snowflake creation. Big open space. Let's also go ahead and see what this weird wonky thing looks like from spectator cam. Actually, I can't even see it. I've lost. Oh, there it is. Okay. A little hard to see. Kind of nearly impossible to see. But luckily it is, you know. Yeah, I can still control it with F9. That's what I meant to say. Alright. And we can take a leisurely stroll about. And if we wanted to, we could of course angle ourselves up and try to hover. It should automatically try to hover itself. Come on. Aim up, aim up, aim up, aim up. Ooh, ooh. It's like a butterfly all of a sudden. There we go though. We were able to save it. And it should automatically hover now. I should probably level it out a little bit. Since we're at this state though, let's go ahead and hop out of it and get into the other chair. There we are. And now we see it's more of like lander mode where it would actually be, you know, landing, picking up cargo and lifting it to the stars. But yeah, there you go. I just felt like sharing this strange, weird thing I built. I actually did build the entire thing on a live stream, so if you wanted to see that, you can check out my twitch.tv/ectosage channel. I'm going to try to, from now on, every Friday, go ahead and do a live stream where I'm going to build something, and then in the following weekend, try to edit it into a video to show that off. Because obviously my YouTube's been a bit of a mess for a while, and I want to get back to actually putting stuff out there. Also, I think I somehow glitched these between the one rotation set and the other rotation set. Weird. Very, very weird. Anyway, that's that. Let's crash this thing really quickly so we can wrap up this video, because it doesn't seem quite like a Space Engineers video unless you have a giant catastrophic failure at the very end of your video, does it? Let's lock them in place at this funky angle so we can just have some weird shizzle-whizzle going on. I love being able to control stuff through rotors. Definitely highly suggest checking out that script. It's so bloody powerful. And I think we're going to try another close pass, maybe over here to the left. I could have gone ahead and just, you know, hovered there for a bit and stuck some more gyroscopes on it so we can have some more fun. In fact, we're doing that. There. That's better. So now that should give us a little bit more control, and let's do the rotations again to the side here and see how close we can get to the ground before we inevitably run into something. There we go. And of course, some of the thrusters are deciding to burn those gyroscopes off, but, well, you know. You always gotta break a few eggs to make an omelet, alright? Even if your omelet is intended to be just a smashed up egg on the floor, which is what this will be in a matter of moments, I'm sure. It is a weird thing to see. I'd very much like to see more of these things flying about. Maybe I'll go ahead and set one up at some point to be a drone, and we could have like a bunch of them flying around at some point in the future. We can save that. We can save that. We can save that. Just hold W. Hold W. There we go. Yep, told you we could save it. Just shows, you know, just how many thrusters I have and just how many I didn't even need when this thing isn't carrying any cargo. So yeah, there we go. I think we'll just end it there. We got some destruction in. Yeah, some destruction in. And you got to see the basic gist of this silly little strange flying lifting body thing. Oh lord. Oh. 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 Saved it. Nothing to see here. Anyway guys, that will be that. Thanks a bunch for watching, and I shall see you all next time. Ta-ta.